All right, so we got this transmission ripped apart here. This is the pinion shaft, and this is the outer shaft that houses all of the gears. And we had issues, obviously, if you've seen in the last video, it wouldn't go into first gear. It's the whole reason that this thing's torn apart. And I did press all of the gear assembly apart off of this shaft. This slides onto here, and all the gears go onto there. So now this is first gear, and you can see here we have a hub assembly, this piece here, and this outer reverse driven gear slides over top of this. So second gear assembly sits on top of that, and based on where you're shifting, the fork that slides over this will either slide up or it will slide down below this hub, which engages first or second gear. So what was happening was I thought there was maybe something in the synchro mesh that was screwed up, or something that was broken that wasn't allowing the this to slide down, but it actually turned out to be these teeth on here. They're supposed to be nice and sharp, you can see on the splines, and well, this side is all ground down and bent over, and there's actually quite a few burrs that are created from what I assume to be grinding second gear, and it would have to be pretty substantial to block the splines. And I'll take this off and show you. You can see what happens is it'll slide in one way, right? But it won't come out the top because the top of these teeth are so bent over that the splines no longer mesh once it gets to that point, and it's stuck. So you cannot drop this down below its resting position, which would be engaging first gear. So that's exactly what's going on. And you can see here, like these teeth, what they run into is the whatever gear it's driving. So this set of teeth here on this side would be engaging through the synchro mesh into this first gear. This portion of teeth here is actually part of the gear, and that's what locks in for your first gear. And then opposite for second gear when it goes up. It's the same thing. There's another gear here, and on the underside it's got the same thing with all the teeth and the synchro mesh, and that's exactly what's going on. So it's been somebody's been grinding it in second gear real bad, and that's caused it not to be able to go the other way into first gear. So it's kind of neat. I've never seen something like that before, but you just never know what to expect. Now, I did call Subaru, and it's going to be about a week to get parts. Some of the pieces have to come from Japan, but for the most part, they have everything in stock. They do sell this piece and this hub piece as a set because they need to be sort of in sync with each other to a certain point. I have gone and marked everything with paint to show exactly where everything needs to go. And there's this collar piece here, and all these pieces get pressed onto the shaft. And I've had everything all lined up to where the oil holes go through here. Like I said, this pinion shaft actually runs right through this outer shaft. And that's how Subaru does their four-wheel drive, or their all-wheel drive system, because the front differential is incorporated inside of the transmission. So they need a way to drive that front diff with this pinion shaft. And then the normal transmission gear portion of things is this outer shaft. So I thought that was kind of neat how they do that. I did have to make a special tool in order to press this stuff off. Obviously, there are some special service tools to do this job because everything gets pressed on and whatever, right? So the clearance to slip in between the gears to hold the gear while you're pressing the shaft through is very, very tiny. So if we come over to the press here, I'll show you the pieces that I made, and they did the trick. They did end up bending a little bit, but they worked. So all I did was I just had a bunch of this 1 inch long pieces of steel laying around. It's just mild steel. You can see how much is bent there, right? And that was completely flat when I started, obviously. So I have these 2 pieces. I slid them in underneath of the gear, and then I would set that on the press like this, and I'd have the shaft sitting in there, and I'd go ahead and press down on the shaft, and everything worked out. Everything came apart nicely. Got parts on order, figured out what's going on with it. So I'm very happy so far, so good. Just everything needs to go back together properly. Unfortunately, I have to wait a week for parts to show up. So if you have any issues with your transmission or have any questions, throw them down in the comments below. And as always, give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button.